Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Mega Man Zero. Before we start, this guy is new. It's the Reploid we rescued from the crashed shuttle. I really like how as the game progresses, the resistance base becomes more lively as the people you save repopulate it. Now let's get on with the mission. I've put off the first one in the list for long enough. Though now, other missions have appeared in the list. More on that later. That's what we do best, after all. CL, you just told me stuff. Why don't you shut up now? Really, as we have seen in the desert mission before, there is absolutely no problem in the game's engine for them to have CL talk while you're running. And this would have been the perfect place too, because there is a wide stretch of empty land. That really don't get why they did it here. I mean, here, you see, they can do it. Absolutely no problem. And I do think this extension to the left instead of a wall is just because we are in the subway after all. It kind of makes sense. So this is the first time I'm using an elf, and she's not really the best shot. I am really not that big of a fan of the elves in general, especially because they're just there for one mission and the benefits aren't that great, but just for demonstration's purpose, we're going to keep her out for this mission. The cables hanging from the ceiling are actually an interesting obstacle because you have to slash them with the sword or the triple rod. And if you jump correctly, then you don't have to stop at all. Just slash in midair. That's kind of fun. I like it. And one thing I haven't talked about yet in detail is how getting elves works. Most of them are just lying around like so, but you get a great deal of them by killing enemies, a certain number of enemies of a certain type in a certain mission. In this case we have to kill quite a lot of the rolling bikes here, and contrary to what is most often the case, you don't automatically get the elf just by going through the level. I definitely had to make those guys respawn here to get the elf, no way around it. Another little stupidity of this particular mission here, we've got two sets of boss tools here just for the mini-boss and two more going out, but we just did a mission where there were absolutely no boss gates whatsoever, so I don't really get the point. This guy here is kind of a pushover with the lightning chip equipped. It's going to come in even more handy later on. We're going to see more of this guy here though in the hard mode video, as is the case with the boss, because obviously I cannot charge up and I cannot use the elements. Just a little more subtlety from how hard mode is definitely harder as the normal mode. So yeah, interrupted again. You could have told me that before, CL, really. And made it quicker, because I'm kind of in a hurry to stop the train now and... Oh great, that's leaving. If you just hadn't stopped me, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Think about what you've done. But yeah, I guess we're going to rescue the Cyber Elf, and with the return of the Revenge of the Timer. This is the only other time in the game where there will be a timer, and it's kind of unfortunate. You had one in the first really hard mission, and one here, so you'd think, my god, do I have to put up with the timer all the time now? Oh, no, you don't. This is the last time you're going to see it. Another sign pointing to me that this mission is kind of early in development, and they had a few ideas in here that they really should have taken out in the final product. This is a very short stretch and the timer is completely inconsequential anyway, so I'm going to dig around here for a while, showing off our new skill. The jumping rolling slash looks impressive and it can take apart normal enemies quite easily, but I'm not that big of a fan of it in general because it's not that good against bosses. I do prefer the jump slash because it deals more damage over a short amount of time and usually won't be sitting in the face of a boss being able to slash him constantly. Another reason for why I digged around here for a while is that I wanted to collect more elves. This now all I can get from normal enemies in the mission to quite a high concentration. Yeah, I guess I've reached the boss here, and I can't even skip this dialogue, which is completely pointless somewhere. I'm going to completely cheese this boss by using his weakness, and by having the elf help, I guess, because you've already seen everything it does. Those pistons here are a giant pain in the ass because they're usually not a threat at all, but the spikes that come up in the ceiling are instant kill, and this is the exact opposite of fun. If you get trapped by those, and you will see that in the hard mode video, you can just dash through, making your frame smaller, but this is kind of an advanced tactic, and really don't like that boss. So, jump slash, rolling slash, not as powerful as a jump slash, we just saw it. Any other boss would have been taken apart. Literally, this guy here doesn't get sliced in half because he's just immovable object. Yeah. Dear God, will you shut up for once, CL? Seriously, this is getting far better in later missions, but this mission, as I said, looks kind of unpolished. Yeah. And we got Totten for our effort. CL is going to tell us quite a bit more about her, and I'm not going to stop her for once because I want to talk about her too. Totten is the big hacker elf. We've already talked about how there are 3 sizes of elves: small, medium, large. Large ones you have to upgrade twice so they work, and for Totten you will have to spend 3,500 energy crystals, which is ludicrous. All Totten does is coat spikes with a protective layer. So you won't run into spikes again, but it's really not worth it. Oh, and, as I've said, new missions show up when you do old ones, but I really haven't figured out the system so far. So yes, you can do the Occupy Factory mission and get the fire chip for Anubis. Eggs on my face. Thanks for your attention.